Michael Popok, Legal AF. We got a new ruling from the United States Supreme Court related to education and diversity and integration in the student body, which indicates that there are not at least 4 people of the United States Supreme Court, 4 justices, that want to take up the issue again and explore the ramifications of the ruling last year that ended affirmative action in higher education as a means to having a more diverse student body. In other words, the Supreme Court doesn't have 4 votes to pull up an appeal in order to address whether a high school can use integration and diversity methods in order to have a more cohesive, integrated, diverse student body. You would think, based on the decision against affirmative action, which ended over 50 years of affirmative action policies being used on campus in order to create a more diverse student body, my own university, New York University, a very diverse place because of those issues, and I'm a better person and I was a better student for it. But now there's copycat cases being brought by the same astroturf groups, artificial grassroots groups, who are just trying to challenge liberal, and I mean liberal in a good way, liberal education. So to follow up on the heels of no affirmative action, they were testing whether the justices just a year later were willing to explore what comes next in education, including at the lower level, at the high school level, by the precedent established. Good news is the Supreme Court, perhaps a bit chafed, a little bit singed by their prior rulings, do not want to take up so soon the decision. So in an unsigned decision that just said that they decline the appeal, they're going to let stand the ruling from the Virginia Federal Appellate Court that found in a close vote that the policies used by the Alexandria, Virginia school system, particularly at the Thomas Jefferson High School for Science and Technology, which tried to make their student body more diverse and lower the amount ultimately of Asian Americans from 73% down to 54%, which is still exceedingly high given the makeup in Alexandria, Virginia. And they did it through different things at the middle school level and different quota requirements that eventually got them to a more diverse class. This all coming after the Black Lives Matter movement, and where schools sort of put a mirror to themselves and decided they didn't like what they saw and they wanted to make changes. And look, this is not anti-Asian American. I mean, I am the furthest thing from somebody that would ever espouse that kind of sentiment. But I do see the value in education to not having 73% of any one group, unless you live in a community where, you know, the dominant community or minority is 73% makeup, and it isn't in Alexandria, Virginia. So the good news is we were all sort of on the edge about what the United States Supreme Court would do. Now we know with 2 people, I mean, you can set your watch to Sam Alito and Clarence Thomas, because they have not. Clarence Thomas has made it basically his life's dream and his life's goal and his life's work, and it took him 40 years to do it. 35 years to do it, to get rid of affirmative action, even though he benefited from it. He said he was shameful that he benefited from it, that he's embarrassed that it happened, and he wants to now fix that historical wrong, and he did. And so he and Sam Alito wrote a scathing dissent. Now look, let's do the math. In order for a case to be brought up to the Supreme Court, you have to have 4 votes. 5 votes once the substantive merits decision is made, but you need 4 to get the case up on appeal. 4 justices have to vote that they want the case up on appeal. If they don't get 4 justices, they don't. Apparently, they only got 3. So they got Sam Alito and Clarence Thomas, who wrote a scathing dissent against the majority, or against the other people who didn't vote with them, I guess. They couldn't get 2 more votes, and they were trying to, and against the decision of the lower court, and said Sam Alito went so far as to say it is a wrong-headed decision and a scourge that should be removed from the legal precedent books. I mean, take it easy, Sam. I mean, you've done enough damage, haven't you, in the last 2 years as the author of the Dobbs decision, taking away a woman's right to choose? What else do you want to do? I mean, this guy sometimes I think he's a time traveler. Like Sam Alito came from another time, like the old-timey period when women and minorities and Jews and blacks and things didn't have rights in this country, or certainly didn't have appropriate civil rights or equal rights. But Sam Alito, you can count on him. You can set your watch to him. He was going to oppose this. But the problem is he couldn't get 2 more votes. That means that 7 out of the 9 on the panel did not think that there should be so soon another decision taking on whether diversity in education is right or wrong at the junior level. Now, it makes no sense. It's almost completely internally inconsistent. I don't really understand, so don't ask me to explain it here on this hot take. What is the public policy or constitutional underpinnings of making sure there's diversity and integration at the high school level or the middle school level or the grammar school, elementary school level, but not at the college level? I really don't get it. They've also refused to touch the issue with a 10-foot pole related to the military academies, because they've said that they think that diversity in the military academies, and however that's obtained and achieved, is appropriate. So we're starting to see here the bright line borders around what this Supreme Court is willing to say and do in the areas of education, and so soon after. Now, look, when they want to fix a problem, they know how to do it. Just 1.5 years ago, 2 years ago, they made the Dobbs decision, which took away a woman's constitutional right to choose and overturned Roe versus Wade. This term, they're going to decide whether abortion pills violates the Constitution, or if there's a constitutional right to abortion pills, is the better way to put it. Or is it something that needs to go to states and let states ban them one by one? So when they want to take up an issue and do a follow-on case on a core, fundamental public policy, constitutional issue like religion, like abortion, they know how to do it, right? They're constantly making rulings about religion. They're constantly making rulings about abortion and about gun control or lack thereof, or gun rights. But here, when it came to diversity in education, they were like, that's a bridge too far. So I guess the good news of this hot take, I mean, I'm not trying to, like I said, I don't blow smoke or sunshine. The good news about this hot take is that there were only 2 votes to declare, I would imagine, that diversity and integration in high schools is a bad thing, and that that's not a laudable goal. I mean, as Sam Alito put it in his dissent, we're making bigots, out of an entire group of people that believe in religion, and he feels that in a case related to the use of certain questions to disqualify jurors. He didn't like the fact that certain jurors were disqualified because they expressed their religious beliefs. So here's the guiding lines for the Supreme Court. If it deals with religion, they're going to take the case and they're going to side with religion against the government and against the wall between church and state every time. If it deals with education, it looks like they're picking and choosing their moments, and they're letting children below a certain age be diverse and integrated. But when they get to college, it's a free-for-all, and it can be all of one group or another, all white, all Asian, all whatever, and that's just okay with the United States Supreme Court. But look, we'll continue to follow these developments in Supreme Court cases just like this one in one place, MeidasTouch Network, and on this YouTube channel, and on a show we call Legal AF. The title is exactly what you think, and we sit at the intersection of law, politics, and justice, so you don't have to. And I host the show on Wednesdays and Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on this MeidasTouch channel. Help them get to 3 million free subscribers, and then on audio podcast platforms of your choice. So if you like lawyers talking about things where they know what they're talking about, you've come to the right place at Legal AF. So until my next hot take, until my next Legal AF, this is Michael Popok reporting.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.